Good morning and a warm welcome to everyone. A few of you might have already attended the past few events and programs that we have put out under Fintech OI, which is basically Fintech Open Innovation, through which we are trying to build a community and bring together different stakeholders of the extended Fintech ecosystem in India and beyond its borders. The way Fintech OI is structured is on a monthly basis, we host three very distinct events. One of it being a demo day, which provides a platform for emerging fintechs to showcase their products, their technologies. The other one being more of a masterclass where we identify a very specific topic, bring in domain experts from India and other markets to discuss and deliberate on the topic. And the third one is more about opening up what the different opportunities in fintech are like. And today we have a couple of very interesting sessions lined up. The first one being a global innovation inspiration tour by Visa, which is again the original poster child of fintech in more than one ways. And talking about the different centers, five of them in fact, and the work that they do at and across the different innovation centers globally, and what kind of opportunities Visa presents provide for the platform to emerging fintech. That is what we kick off with, and then we move on to the other segment wherein we have handpicked about six or seven fintechs who will be talking about their products to senior executives from Visa. But today we also have an interesting new addition to our set of principal sponsors and partners, Perfios, which has been around for over a decade and doing some really interesting work in the broader fintech space. And we're going to be introducing them, announcing them as a new partner, and we have them talking about some of the cool stuff that they're doing on the lending side of things, leveraging artificial intelligence. So without any further ado, I'll just hand it over back to Sumit, who can do the honors for getting our speakers from Visa on. Over to you, Sumit.
Thank you. Thanks, Ajay. So, thanks for a quick introduction of FinTech OI and a bit background in terms of what we have achieved so far. So, with that, I would like to welcome Mr. Govind and Ms. Mansa. Hi, Govind. Hi, Mansa. Am I audible?
Yes. Hi, Samir.
Hey, hi. Yeah.
Hi. So over to you. Like, if you could help us give a brief introduction first about the whole innovation centers at Visa, and then followed by a tour of the Visa's innovation centers we have planned up. That would be
Awesome. Thanks so much, Smith. Yeah, I could get us kickstarted. So hi, everyone. My name is Mansa, and I am part of the innovation team here in Singapore. So part of the AP innovation team. And you'll also see my colleague Govind also on the line. And he heads up a lot of the innovation initiatives out of the India market. So what I'm going to do today is actually share my screen and take you through a virtual innovation tour of our Singapore Innovation Center. So obviously, in an ideal scenario, we would have loved to host you in person. Grab a cup of coffee, walk you around the office. But given the pandemic that's ongoing at the moment, unfortunately, we're going to have to make do with a virtual version. But I assure you that it is pretty much a replica of what we have in the Innovation Center. So hopefully, it will give you the same experience. I just want to check that everyone can hear me clearly and that you can see my screen. I'm currently sharing a tour.
Yeah, we can.
yes.
Okay, awesome. So before we get started, I'm just going to go through a couple of housekeeping items. So to make this presentation larger on the shared screen, what you can do is click on the view button on the top right of your Zoom window to make it full screen. And if you have any issues with that, just let us know. And if you have any questions throughout the tour, feel free to ask along the way using the Zoom chat feature. My colleague Govind will help to answer some of those during the tour, but we'll also pause at different times to get your questions and have any answers that you'd like. All right, so with that, I'm just going to show you a little bit of housekeeping on how we navigate through this tour. So as we go through this, you'll see me clicking on this eye icon at the bottom, right? And that brings up information about each of the zones that we're going to be in. And of course, in the icon next to it, it's the location icon. You can see a map of the various zones in this tour. So today we'll be starting with zone 1 and then moving through to zone 2 and zone 3. So we're going to be using this map as a way to navigate through the site. Now, fun fact is this, like I said, this is actually a replica of our innovation centers here in Singapore. So right here in this corner seat that I'm hovering over, that's actually my seat at the innovation center. And later on, you'll be able to see a closer view of that as well. All right, so throughout these three zones, what we're going to do is explore the growth of the visa network and see how the different visa capabilities are supporting the needs of consumers, businesses, and governments, as well as how we're continuously expanding the payment ecosystem by working with partners such as yourself, fintechs. So we're going to be showing you a couple of the latest solutions that we're deploying, as well as some exciting new directions that we're working on. So without further ado, we can get started. So typically when we think about Visa and when we speak to our clients or fintechs about it, the first thing that comes to mind when we ask them, hey, what do you think Visa is? We're always hearing, oh, it's the credit card company. But really, in honesty, we're so much more than that. Visa is a payments technology company that facilitates commerce all over the world. And to zoom in on exactly what that means, we come to our first hotspot over here, where we highlight Visa's network of networks strategy. So the world is becoming increasingly digital, and Visa is committed to evolving and expanding the network to connect the world and move beyond just cards. What we really want to do is to be that single point of connection for any transaction, not just card transactions, so that we can then enable the movement of money as well as data for everyone, everywhere. And I'm just going to show you a quick video that's going to tell you a little bit more. All right, so in that video, you saw how we're building capabilities like tokenization and biometrics, as well as expanding our networks such as B2B Connect through our partners to create that network of networks. So not to worry, we are going to come back to talk about some of these capabilities and partners again during the rest of the tour and really bring them to life. So now we can start heading into the Innovation Center. So I'll just walk through a little bit of this before I hand it over to my colleague to take us through the next part of the zone. So welcome to the Visa Innovation Center in Singapore. You're officially inside. So this particular zone contains 3 experience areas, a digital capability wall that I'm going to go through, a cafe on this side where we typically host colleagues or clients for coffee, as well as a carousel that Govind will walk you through later. So let's start with the digital capability wall. Sorry, did someone have a question? Okay, awesome. In that case, Welcome to our digital capability wall. What we're going to do here is take a look at some of the capabilities that power the Visa network. So first off, you'll be able to see the broad categories of capabilities and partners that we have. Each of these little grids is actually clickable and it contains a bundle of capabilities. I know the font might be a little bit small, so I apologize for that. But if there's anything that stands out to you, feel free to reach out to us later and we can definitely share more information. So we're going to highlight a couple of these today and not go into too much detail, but of course, like I said, at any point, if you're interested in anything specifically, or feel free to reach out. So first here at the bottom, we have our core products. And these are things like credit, debit, prepaid, purchasing card, corporate card, and so on. And many of these cards right now are actually frequently used as digital cards. Next, we've got payment enablement. And this is really how we pay using all of those cards I just talked about. So that could be dip, swipe, tap, clicking online, scanning a QR. Then we come to risk solutions that really helps to secure each and every one of our transactions. And finally, given the millions of transactions flowing through the Visa network daily, this particular chunk talks about all of Visa's data and analytics solutions, which deliver insights to help merchants and other businesses grow their business, but also helps consumers get the best offering from their banks. So what you'll see here on this particular capability wall is if I click on the home icon, there's a couple of set plays on this side in gray and black that represent a combination of capabilities. And of course, all the myriad capabilities on the left. For example, digital commerce over here, it's a set play that combines specific capabilities that power online payments. And let's click in. Just a fun fact for anyone who's interested is when you actually go to the Innovation Center in Singapore, this particular wall is recreated, so you can tap any of these capabilities to learn more about it. So within digital commerce, Enroll Cards allows you to add your Visa cards to digital wallets like Apple Pay, Google Pay, and Samsung Pay. I'm sure most are familiar with this. Of course, tokens enable safer digital transaction by making sure we're not exposing anyone's card number. Click to Pay, it reduces the need to fill in tedious checkout fields and passwords, and it makes sure to reduce abandoned baskets. Installments is a solution that provides flexibility in payment as well as helps merchants increase their sales volume. And finally, transaction verifications protects you from potential fraud by notifying you when a suspicious transaction is made. So this is a very, very quick primer. We'll definitely go into a bit more detail on these features in a little bit. But this is really just to call out that Visa has a whole variety of set plays for both consumers and businesses. Again, in the interest of time, I'm not going to go through everything today. But if there's anything in particular you're interested in, feel free to type in the chat box or let us know later. So with that, I am going to hand it over to Govind, who's going to walk us through the next part of this zone.
Hey, thanks, Mansa. I hope I'm audible and clear.
Yep.
Great. Now let's move to the second experience area in the zone, the Visa Singapore Cafe. Here, we'd like to introduce you to our persona, Ming. She's based in Singapore and is the owner of a chain of juice bars across Asia and also a busy mom. Throughout this experience area and the next one, we want to take you through a week in life of Ming and all the different payment touch points that she goes through. First, we'll take you through how Ming signs up for a Visa card and pays with her face at the cafe. She sees a promotion, $1 off her coffee every time if she signs up for a Visa card. For a coffee lover like Ming, $1 off your coffee every time plus 10,000 points upon sign up. Sounds like a great deal. Ming decides to apply for the Visa card and scans the QR code. Scanning the QR code brings up a bank application where she finds out more about this offering. She decides to apply with 4 easy steps. We have got her personal details here.
Sorry, I apologize. I'll just go through this again.
Yeah. Cool. We've got her personal details here, and next she scans her photo ID, verifies that it looks right, and takes a selfie. She then checks that all her information has been filled in correctly. Ming now sees the option on the next screen for enhanced credit scoring. This will allow her to share select data from her other bank accounts with a new issuer to potentially get a better credit line. She'd like to do that as she knows that she has been managing her finances well in her other banking accounts. As the pace of open banking picks up in Asia, it becomes more and more common for the consumers to be able to selectively share their financial data. Ming selects an existing bank that she banks with. In this case, it's FDNB. She logs into FDNB, selects the FDNB account, which she's happy to share her information. She has total clarity and control over the account information to share and what is being shared, the 12 months account transaction details. Upon successfully sharing her FDNB account information, her application is submitted for processing and is instantly approved. Signing up for the card should always be this easy. Getting a digital card instantly is now table stakes. And to further provide a better consumer experience, Visa is also working to enable sharing of personal financial data across financial institutions. So after applying for this card, Min is now asked to enable Look and Go for payments. Under the Manage Card section, Ming has a complete control over her card, and she enables or disables, she can disable various channels of payments. With Visa's transaction control, customers are empowered to be able to manage set, block, and alerts on their cards and digital accounts. Ming now has enabled Look and Go for payments. So what is Look and Go? Let's take a look at the tablet that the barista is using and his point of sale device. He adds Ming's coffee of choice to the current sale, indicate if milk is required, then clicks on charge. He selects Look and Go as the method of payment. Ming looks directly into the camera on the point of sale tablet. Her face is recognized, her identity is verified, and her purchase is now complete. What you just saw is a Look and Go facial recognition payment experience that enables touchless in-store checkout using your face. The user's face image is stored on consumer's own device, reducing the risk associated with centralized databases. At Visa, security and privacy are the core building blocks, laying the foundation of dependable ecosystem. With Look and Go facial payments and the decentralized image storage, Visa continues to demonstrate our emphasis on security and privacy by design principle. Next, we move away from the cafe and into the carousel experience area. In this area, you'll see multiple hotspots. First, let's go to Ming's home office. Here, we'll look at how Ming prepares to grow her business in Hong Kong. Ming is chatting with his staff, Sam, who just confirmed his business trip to Hong Kong, and she reminds him to apply for a virtual card for his trip expenses. Sam opens his business banking app while it loads. Yeah, and sees several virtual cards that he has used previously. He decides to request for a new virtual card. On the app, Sam can enter details such as the amount he needs, when he needs it, and a simple description. With that, he submits his request for the virtual card. Now let's go to Ming. Yeah, Ming receives a notification on her banking business app. Yeah. Sam has just applied for a virtual card. She simply checks all the details, clicks approve, and Sam will receive the card immediately. Virtual cards are really handy. They can be requested for and approved almost instantly. They reduce the need for the employees to use personal cash and cut down the need for time-consuming reimbursements. It's a great way for businesses, large and small, to manage their employee spends and streamline business operations and financial management. As mentioned earlier, Ming owns a chain of juice bars across Asia. She's buying some juicing equipments from a supplier from Malaysia for her business in Hong Kong. Ming now opens the Arco app on her mobile device. Arco is a business payment solution provider, or BPSP. It bridges the gap between buyers who want to pay with a card and sellers who currently do not accept card payment. Within the app, Ming sees a reminder to pay Hang Hang. Traditionally, Hang Hang does not accept cards, which is a bummer for Ming, who prefers to pay with her card. But recently, Hang Hang signed up to be a supplier on Arco platform. What this means is that Arco accepts card payment on behalf of Hang Hang and then pays directly to Hang Hang's overseas bank accounts. Ming checks the invoice details and sees the total amount due in Malaysian ringgits. She checks the exchange rate, the amount due in Singapore dollars, and other Arco fees before she makes the payment. She selects Visa card she wants to pay from and confirms payment. We see that the payment is now in progress and should be delivered by the end of the day. Like mentioned in the beginning of the tour, Visa is building a network of networks to enable new business payment flows. Our BPSP partnership is just one way we are connecting more and more buyers and sellers. Ming now moves to her business banking portal. Checks out the performances of her business. On the portal, she sees her account balance within the bank, how her business has been performing, it has been growing, the traffic on her website, and more. The dashboard is powered by Ninespoke, and we work with them to aggregate and provide meaningful data to small business partners. This partnership is just one of the examples of how we work with fintechs and expand their reach while supporting the need of our clients and small businesses. On the platform, Ming sees that a credit loan is available to her. Perhaps it's just what she needs for additional funds to expand her business in Hong Kong. First, she verifies that all her information is correct and enables an option to share her business data with the bank for enhanced credit assessment. But what does this mean exactly? The merchant provides data insights such as how her business is performing, is it growing versus similar juice bars, is customer growth stable? By accessing the merchant data, Visa provides a credit score to the bank. This supports banks' underwriting for small businesses where traditional data scores may be insufficient. This enables banks to better offer loan to small businesses like juiceries. Ming confirms the amount of loan she's applying for, purpose of loan, as well as how long she needs for the repayment. Great news. Her loan has been approved instantly, and it would be credited into her account within 24 hours. What we just saw is Visa's business credit scoring capability. It is just one of the ways that Visa is looking to leverage our data to provide a better experience for end users. So now that Ming has all her business payments taken care of, she is getting ready to head to Hong Kong to manage the business there. Let's move to the next part of the carousel as Ming gets ready to head to Hong Kong to manage her businesses there. While waiting for her flight at the airport, she gets a message from her bank asking if she'd like a personalized offer for her trip. Clicking on it, she sees an exclusive offer bundle, personalized just for her. It consists of 2x airport lounge access, 5 GB roaming data, and personalized travel offers overseas. It's stated clearly here that she has to agree to share specific information such as her age, transaction history, and location. It's also clear how long she has been sharing the information and who the information will be shared with. We believe that enterprise and the consumers are ready for the new approach to data sharing and consent management, where multiple parties, even cross-border, can agree to share data in a robust, secure, and transparent manner. And consumers could gain much more personalized offers and still have total control over how their data is shared. Ming now has her offer activated. Now Ming is overseas and she taps a Singapore Visa card to board on a train. Yeah. She doesn't have to wait in line to buy or refill a local transit card or fumble for cash. Many travelers have extra overseas transit card like Octopus or Oyster cards sitting around in drawers at home because the previously used cards are not probably charged. But Visa card can help for the kind of transit that you're looking at. Yeah. Well, now Visa has over 500 active transit projects flowing globally to launch tap and pay solutions to public transit. Our Visa card works everywhere so that whether you are in Singapore, London, or Sydney, we can just tap and ride. While Ming waits for her train, she checks her banking app and sees a 7% cashback at a store near her. She decides to pick up a scarf and opt for store pickup. While making payment, she sees the click to pay icon. Click to pay is now live at partnering businesses in Australia, New Zealand, and Hong Kong, mainland China, Myanmar, and Singapore. Click to pay allows shoppers to spend through checkout process by eliminating the need to manually enter the card number and password. Businesses also benefit from implementing just one checkout button for all the network. Now let's go to the next part of the carousel as Ming heads to the store to pick up her scarf. While at the store, Ming sees some sneakers and attempt to try them on using augmented reality. Augmented reality applications have been on the rise with virtual try before you buy experiences. Once a nice to have feature, it has quickly become an essential technology for retailers both online and in physical stores. In physical stores, hygiene and safety are top priority. In response to the pandemic, retailers are turning to AR to help customers test or try goods without having to touch too many items. Our shopkeeper here is ready to accept payments using just his mobile phone. This is our Tap to Phone initiative. It allows Android smartphones to be used as contactless software-based point-of-sale devices and is part of Visa's commitment to digitally enable 50 million small and micro businesses to quickly and easily accept digital payments at a low cost without the need for additional hardware. He selects the footwear item of her choice, clicks charge, and selects tap. Once Ming taps her card, she sees that the option to either pay in full or pay via installments. Installment options at the point of sale are becoming more and more common. They help merchants increase sales volume and boost customer loyalty and enable consumers to spread their cost of purchase. Ming selects a 12-month installment plan. The monthly payment amount and fee she pays and are clearly presented to her. With that, she completes her purchase. The journey here is powered by Visa Installment Solutions. Visa is working with many issuers and merchants around the region to offer more flexibility and choice for consumers to pay. After her transaction, Ming goes to her bank app. She sees a receipt for her purchase with details of the amount, points, cashback, and even carbon footprint of her spend. At Visa, we understand the importance to engage users beyond transaction and therefore offer many ways to provide these details. For instance, we work with a company called Minica to help issuers engage their users beyond the transaction by providing rich details like these. The carbon footprint piece is offered by them too. We'll now head to the last section of the tour, Zone 3. I now pass it on to Mansa. Over to you, Mansa. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much, Govind. And I'm now about to show you through Zone 3. Where you're seeing right now, you can see my desk right here at the corner. So if you're ever in the Singapore Innovation Center, make sure to stop by and we can grab a cup of coffee at the cafe Govind walked you through earlier. All right, so we're now going to head to the last section of our tour, which is Zone 3. And our first highlight here is the Payment Fraud Disruption Showcase. Just give it a minute to come up. Awesome. So at Visa, our #1 priority is to secure the world's payments, right? And using the power of advanced technology as well as analytics, we're able to thoroughly analyze millions of transactions in a day to reduce fraud, prevent breaches, but also protect the integrity of the entire payment ecosystem. So here, we've got 3 real-life stories around how Visa combats everything from ATM cash-out attacks, tackles e-commerce fraud, and also handles complex combined enumeration and cash-out attacks. So because the last one is a mouthful, I'm going to go for the easier one and go with e-commerce fraud. All right, so let's select into expect the unexpected. So here we are, a day in the life of some of our payment fraud disruption colleagues. Visa's e-commerce threat disruption software is running a daily scanner, and it looks like we've detected some payment data e-skimming. So let's take a closer look at what's going on here. It looks like some malware has been detected right here. See where the malware is being detected. It's detected at a restaurant's e-commerce checkout page. So now that we've seen this happen, let's quickly alert the restaurant. Now the restaurant has been alerted, but we should continue our analysis. Using ETD detection capability, we found payment data skimming malware hidden in a file, which is hosted by a restaurant's online ordering service provider. But we see that it's not just the restaurant's checkout page that's been affected, but this same software from the online ordering service could be impacting other users as well. And we see there that it's actually several hundreds of other merchants using the same service provider. And the infected file is shared across so many of them. So we'll quickly take action and alert this online ordering service provider. This service provider is able to quickly identify the malware. It's very satisfying to see all the green come up. The malware has been identified. We're then able to clean the infection and lock down the system to prevent reinfection. So thanks to Visa's e-commerce threat disruption capability, as well as the quick response of the PFD team, we've saved all of the infected merchants as much as 141 million USD. Now, I know this exercise makes it look really simple and easy with a snazzy video, but this proactive fraud detection without the need to wait for fraud reports actually uses patent pending technology, and it tracks down the source of compromise as well as the nature of the threat much faster than the usual time it would take to collect evidence and then identify the source of compromise. So what this does is it thereby limits the amount of time that a merchant is compromised, as well as the window of exposure where consumers' payment data is at risk. So that was just one of the stories that we can take a look at. And with that, I'm just going to take you to the final part of our Zone 3 that I think might be the most relevant to everyone on the call today. But before that, I'll just do a quick recap. So today and during the virtual innovation tour, we walked you through our network of network strategy in Zone 1. In Zone 2, we showed how our capabilities and partners help us expand beyond cards through the week in the life of Ming. And then finally, we came to Zone 3, where we showcased some real life examples on how Visa is protecting the payment ecosystem. So to wrap it all up, we're going to come to the last exhibit of our virtual tour, which is our partner showcase. And in the interest of time, we're only going to be playing one video now. But what we'll do is hear from our fintech innovators on how we're partnering together to power global commerce.
Running a startup is like attending a university where you major in life and business at the same time.
Conventional wisdom is that you couldn't make a business out of a free checking account, and I think we proved a lot of people wrong.
A Trig surgiu para tratar problema que a gente via no mercado, que era de ceder crédito para o público jovem.
Sunium's core business is moving money around the world, enabling usage of money, enabling acceptance of that money.
What we're trying to do at AirWallex is to make a global payment very much into a local payment. When you look at Latin America, you have 700 million people here, you have half of the GDP of China. You can build really, really important businesses here.
When we look at how our clients benefit from getting these working capital facility, as well as the way in which we help create jobs, is extremely fulfilling.
As you continue to build a company and scale, having partners is very important. Partners that actually go into the trenches, that get dirty, that work closely with the entrepreneurs.
We are one of the first members of the Visa Fintech Fast Track program here in Singapore.
It actually didn't exist when we were getting started, but I think we might have been part of the inspiration for it.
A gente levou essa ideia para a Visa e eles falaram, puxa, tem uma tecnologia NFC que com um chip a gente consegue colocar numa pulseira ou em qualquer coisa.
One of Chime's core philosophies is that our members should be able to move money instantly, freely, securely, and we've partnered with Visa in a number of ways to make that happen.
Because of our deep partnership with Visa, we do a lot of co-marketing together. And I think that's a great platform for Visa to understand the pain points of our customers.
E nosso relacionamento com a Visa é incrível. Tem o nome da Visa como uma empresa conhecida internacionalmente, e isso ajudou muito e continua ajudando muito, que isso abre muitas portas, isso acaba facilitando muitas parcerias.
Leveraging Visa infrastructure, we are on a path to be a go-to solution provider for the SMEs when they look at a holistic solution for managing the business finances.
We issue debit cards with Visa as part of the RappiPay offering in our 3 largest markets. That has been super important. We use Visa's brand and Visa's resources to also help our growth.
As Chime has grown, it's just been awesome to have Visa there with us every step of the way. It's helped us get our products to market faster and just be a better bank account for our members.
While we were learning and growing, Visa was also learning and growing.
For younger companies like us that are so passionate about what we do, working with Visa opens a lot of doors, not just in terms of relationships, but just the way people view you and think about you.
Hey, Matsa, just a quick one. Sorry, we can play a couple of videos as well. I think we have time for that. Yeah, it would be great to check out some of the fintech stories of Air Alex and Diem as well.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Maybe I can just share a little bit about the Fintech Connect program as well as the Accelerator program before we open for questions and then also play a video. Awesome. So maybe I'll just share quickly that what you just saw today is one part of a program that we have called the Fintech Connect program. And this program essentially allows our clients to access technology providers as well as partners alongside preferential packages, seamless integration. So earlier, Govind introduced you to Maniga, who powers a lot of that rich receipt concept. And they are just one of the fintechs that are part of this program I'm talking about. And since we're on the topic of fintechs, we also just launched our Visa Accelerator program last December. And the program, what it does is it helps visionary startups all across Asia Pacific test and validate partnership opportunities through an accelerated proof of concept, all within the course of 4 to 6 months. So that's really just a quick overview on all of our fintech related partnership programs as well as the accelerator. Perhaps before I start playing one of these videos, we could open up to see if there's any questions and see if there's any specific preference for interest on either Air Wallets, Niam, or Finexa.
Hi, if any of the attendees have any questions, then kindly unmute themselves and speak up, or else you can post it down in your chat window as well. Thanks.
Hi, that's Temana. Hi, Manasa. I haven't done anything in agri side of it because we've been building agri onboarding platform for Gramina banks in India. The government target is about 100 million customers. It's called Kisan Credit Card Program. And about 15 lakh crore, 15 trillion in INR goes to 85% of this goes through Kisan Credit Card Program. But it's a Kisan Credit Card Program, but there's no credit card here. Some of them use a debit card called a RuPay card, and there is no endpoint visibility of what are they doing with the money. So how do you look at some agri program like that? We can take it to NABARD, speak to one of the Grameen banks we've already onboarded. We've done about 40,000 farmers this year, and we would be doing about 1.5 lakh this year again.
Hey, thanks a lot. Interesting question, actually. And there has been quite a lot happening on that space, I'd say. So we have recently partnered with a couple of fintechs in India as well, who offer lending on prepaid as well. So lending of prepaid is one of the emerging areas that you can definitely explore, wherein you need not give an actual credit card to the customer, but you can give a prepaid card with a line of credit offered on top of it. So that's one of the areas that you can definitely explore. And I think has been bringing a fairly great success for some of the fintechs that we have partnered with in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. It can be explored with agribusinesses as well, with the proper credit underwriting system in place. Absolutely.
And just to add to what Govind is sharing, so while you saw the virtual tour today, what we do actually at the Visa Innovation Center here in Singapore is a big core of our work is discoveries and co-creations. And what those mean, we essentially work with fintechs like yourself or partners like issuers, acquirers, to try to pick a problem area and co-create and solve that problem. So if agri is something that you're interested in and that you think is a huge opportunity, definitely speak to Govind later, and we could maybe potentially think about a discovery session or a longer term co-creation session.
Absolutely. This works between 50,000 INR to 3 lakh INRs, and it is available at 4% rate of interest by the government through the NABARD and the whole lending ecosystem. It's got a huge lending target. We call it as government mandated lending program. It's a 5-year credit line, every year renewable. You can just pay interest and keep continuing or pay back. And they're not using any instrument to go and buy inputs or buy. Farmers, we have found interestingly in the last few months, farmer is also a good consumer actually. We are not treating him like a consumer, we're just treating him. If he wants to buy anything online, he doesn't know how to buy because he has cash. How does he convert that cash into prepaid card and goes and does an online purchase? That's a big problem on the village side.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you're saying about just that blurring of boundaries between what's a consumer and what's a business is something that we're seeing across the different markets. And while it's very relevant to the micro lending space, there's so many different use cases that boundary is also blurring, right? So recently we saw a discovery session where we were talking about small micro consumers that were using their personal cards for boosting of businesses, right? So when they use Facebook or they're a micro SME and they're using that card to boost that business. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It's something that we think about a lot and work with a lot. So definitely something we can continue talking about.
And Timana, happy to get in touch with you, possibly to understand more about the proposition and possibly to take it ahead, because it seems to be a wonderful opportunity that we can definitely think about.
I'll give the extent. There are 52 Gramina banks, completely controlled by NABARD and RBI. It's a mandate given by the government. You have to lend 85% of the loans done by Gramina banks has to be towards agri and financial inclusion. Agri is not small. I mean, we see average ticket size of 2 lakh INRs, right? So, and we see we have just done one Gramina bank, and these guys pick up about 10 to 15% of the whole lending program. And they're on the last mile to distribute the agri loans of the government mandated agri loans. So there is no instrument out there, though the families of farmers, children are growing, they're getting educated, they want to buy online. They want to be on the phone. That's not happening because the other side is extremely cash.
I understand. Definitely sounds like a great proposition. Yeah. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions, comments?
I think there is a question on the chat window, Mansa. Let me read it out for you.
Thank you.
With the world moving towards an advanced POS from the traditional POS, how will it take care of the visually impaired population when it comes to punching the pin over smart POS?
Oh, that's super interesting. Accessibility specifically around the POS is what I'm hearing. So I think there are a couple of different authentication solutions available. It may not necessarily always be from a PIN standpoint. Like you saw earlier, there's quite a few different capabilities that allow for that. If it's a specific capability targeting the visually impaired population, I will have to get back to you on that. I'm not super familiar at the top of my hand if there's a specific authentication format that would work. Here in Singapore, contactless is quite prevalent. So the need for authentication using a PIN is actually pretty much eradicated in most places, which hopefully should aid that process. But I think if it's market specific, I'll let Govind answer that question.
Absolutely. So contactless is again, getting popular in India now. So with RBI increasing the limit up to 5,000. So for transaction ticket size, that's something that is actually great for any set of customers. But specifically speaking about visually impaired set of customers that we have, that's a great idea. I think Braille kind of POSes can also be introduced to the market, which can support them for PIN-based transactions. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think I was just actually thinking about connected devices a lot this past week. So how much payments are being embedded into things like a Google Home, connected cars even are a concept. So I think that could also be a great way from a verbal standpoint to be able to authorize payments. Does that answer your question?
Cool.
Okay. I think that means that it does. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Yeah, I think that answers the question. I can see a thumbs up out there. And I guess moving ahead, if you could shed some light over the customer profiling and a couple of use cases which can be leveraged by other fintechs, especially a few use cases around lending, credit scoring, segmentation. Or what sort of fintech or Visa's innovation is there?
Great. I'll take that question, Mansa. So you're looking at how Visa is expanding the scope of affordability, credit access, and all to the consumers, right? So so one of the primary things, we have a core instrument that is credit card, which is offered to the customers. But apart from that, there are new ways which we are exploring how the credit access can be provided more to the consumers. So one is, like I mentioned to Timana, that we are looking at providing prepaid cards for the customers, wherein the line of credit can be offered on top of it. Another important is Visa installment solution. So customers, when they are looking at the kind of credit access, they want affordability to certain purchases that they are doing. So they would want to spread it across a timeline. So that's when the installment solution comes in quite handy. So Visa's installment solution would support in all these sort of staggered kind of payments that can be done. Visa has got an increased focus on the buy now, pay later space that's emerging as well. And there are more and more case studies that we have. Some of the examples are like Klarna, Afterpay, Zip, and all that we have worked across globally, wherein we have supported them with card solution for a BNPL fintech. So these are some of the case studies, I would say, on how Visa is expanding the access to credit to the consumers. Yeah, if that answers your question. And if Mansa, if you would want to add something more.
I think you've captured it.
Great. That's amazing. And absolutely, I think the buy now pay later segment has already picked up quite well in the Southeast Asian region and a couple of Western markets, and we are seeing more innovations within that segment happening in India as well. So
absolutely.
So
would love to know, like, if like as and when there are some updates from the Visas and slowly and steadily which comes up, we will definitely look forward for that as well with the
You would
Indian
see
market.
increasingly more fintechs and issuers coming up with Visa solutions. Not revealing any of the names now, but definitely in the near future, you can see a lot of BNPL players powered by Visa. Yeah.
And does Visa intend to launch any open source libraries on customer profiling, or some sort of segmentation of customers, because you have so much access to data worldwide? Probably that'll be good to know. Not necessarily, didn't want to interrupt the presentation, but at some point in time, if you want to address it.
That's an interesting one, actually. So Visa privacy and customer security is of prime importance. So Visa is quite bound by rules and regulations about not revealing the customer data. So that becomes a bit of a challenge. But yeah, what we are trying to do as of now is that we are using the data for supporting a couple of issuers in enhanced credit scoring and all. So that is something that we are definitely working on for using the data, that rich source of data that we have. But it's all bound by the security and privacy rules that we are bound with in Visa. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Would you like to add a bunch of points? I think there is one more question coming in from Abhilash out there on the chat window, and that says that they are into B2B cross-border payments, and they frequently come across requests for virtual credit and debit cards in local currencies instead of relying on multi-currency forex cards. So, is there any something possible to enable for businesses?
Absolutely. So I think we have not taken you through the set play of B2B Connect. So B2B Connect is something Visa is offering as a cross-border kind of payments. Mansa, do you want to quickly play that B2B Connect use case as well, so that we can just quickly showcase on cross-border payments as well?
Just give us a little bit of a section. Let me just here. Oh, oops. Apologies. Yep. I think I'll have to go through the experience, unfortunately. All right. Go ahead, Coffin.
One sec. I'm just facing an internet issue. 1 second. I'm just logging back in. Yeah.
Or maybe while Govin's logging back in, I can just take the B2B Connect piece. So I think earlier you saw from Ming's point of view how she's actually conducting her business and how she's making payments through ArcCo for suppliers that don't accept card payments. But what she's also able to do is actually enable a non-card-based network for bank-to-bank cross-border transactions. So what she can do is, in this case, this is Juicery. She's able to select her payee, in this case, Cabana Juice Bar. And you can see that in this particular process, you can see they're using Visa B2B Connect. And what it does is, for end users, it provides the predictability of when funds are going to be delivered, the transparency on things like Forex rate, as well as the clarity of the exact amount that the recipient's going to be receiving. So for banks, what this provides is a single connection to a global network, instead of having like multiple bilateral networks that you just talked about, and it makes it really easy for implementation. So what she can do is just select how much she'd like to transfer. She can see the fee and the total amount that she'll have to pay. Now that everything is transparent, she's able to see the exact information, and her payment is on the way. So this is just one of the solutions that don't necessarily rely on cards. I know your question was specific about local cards.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Cool. So let's go to the so we are at the dashboard there.
Yeah. So I've walked through the B2B Connect piece.
Sure. Thanks.
Cool. So just sharing on the non-card-based perspective, I know you had a question around card-based specific transactions. I'll let you go and take that.
So card-based transactions, as we have gone through the Mints persona, so there are virtual cards that are available, which can be provided for the customers, which can be used overseas. And for payments, for the payment specifically for a cross-border kind of a payment, B2B payments, we have partnered with partners like Arco and all, wherein it offers a almost kind of a real-time payment, which is like the overseas supplier Hang, as you have gone through, pays Mink, and it gets credited to Mink's account in a 24 hours time period. So I think there are more and more options that are getting opened up on the B2B space. Yeah. We can definitely take up that question again and give you more details once we have, or we can get directly in touch with you to get more understanding about what the use cases might be and provide you a very customized solution for that, if that sounds good.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Great. That I think I'm assuming that answers the Abhilash's question.
Yeah, that answers the question. We can take it slightly offline to understand the use case a bit better, because we started seeing this request primarily from a lot of SME business entities.
Okay, that's interesting. And with that, I think I have time for just like last few sets of questions itself. And I think I would like to take one question from Mr. Suresh, and he says that what role do you see in voice bots in payments? And at Voxtra, they are majorly working on voice bots with our proprietary voice bot platform. So what's the work which is coming as voice bots in payments?
So just so I'm understanding, when we say voice bots, do we mean solutions for things like connected devices?
Sorry, I guess my internet was choppy out there. I missed you.
No, I just wanted to clarify on voice bots, if we're specifically talking about voice bots for things like connected devices, Google Home, Alexa.
Yeah.
Would you like to elaborate a bit?
Sure. No, I mean, I think when we say voice bots, we're talking about voice bots because both Google Home and Amazon Alexa are part of their proprietary systems. So in that sense, payments will only be one function within those ecosystems. I'm really talking about, because my understanding is that, in a sense, you're trying to more and more build your own Visa ecosystem. And within that context, whether it's on a mobile phone or it could be for a POS device, Visa has the option to introduce voice into the other scenarios.
Yeah, that's a super interesting question. I'm not sure that I necessarily have the answer to that. I definitely feel like it's something that is going to be the world of the future, just from my very humble opinion. But I can't necessarily speak to a specific solution or capability that powers that at the moment. But Govind, if you have any intel on this.
Yeah, so I think you would have seen the face-based payments and all that are being done, right? So facial recognition is used as one of the tools for making payments. Likewise, we are integrated in some of the global markets and all with Google Homes and all, where the payments can be done through a specific IoT-based device. Yeah, so that can also be integrated. So if you're looking specifically at a voice bot, definitely that option can be explored. I think there are a number of unexplored use cases that definitely can be thought about, and we can innovate it combined as a combined effort. Yeah.
Great. And with that, I think let's jump to the last question, considering the time which and Vikram says that any new initiatives that Visa as a network thinks which on which fintech banks must think and work upon in order to make the customers and merchants' life more convenient. So yeah, that's absolutely a bit of an open-ended question.
Absolutely. I will take that question, and specifically relevant to India market now with COVID pandemic kicking in, and also increasingly the customers looking for more credit access. So I lead that question to more credit access, wherein how easily can we provide credit access to the consumers. So I would say the most important thing that we should be concentrating on is improving the user experience on how the credit access can be improved for the customers, whether it's through a BNPL solution, whether it's through offering credit cards, whether it's through offering lending on prepaid solutions. We can explore multiple options that are there available, and that can be made to the consumers. And one of the important points that I would also want to say is that more and more consumers, based on the research that we have done for AP market, we are seeing that more and more consumers are looking for installment-based solutions as well. So this is going to be one of the major areas that we will be concentrating on, and it's going to gain a lot of traction in India as well. So yeah, that's the space we should be watching out for, one of the areas. But apart from that, yeah, there are quite a lot of areas that Visa is looking into, like cryptocurrency and all, which is, I mean, because of the uncertainties that are existing here, becomes difficult. But yeah, globally, Visa is also concentrating on digital currencies. Yeah.
Yeah. So just on Govind's point, I was going to say that we have just released recently some messaging around Visa's point of view around central bank digital currencies, or CBDC. So if there's anything that you'd like to know with regards to Visa's point of view regarding digital currencies, the future of digital currency, definitely check that out.